Hello, it's Foreign News o'clock on Allnews Nigeria. I am Okwemi Olugbemi. Here are the headlines for today. Canada, United States sign deals to reject asylum seekers. Violence protest hits France over pension reforms. Now the news in detail. The United States and Canada have reached a deal to reject asylum seekers at unofficial border crossings. United States President Joe Biden and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will announce the pact on Friday during Mr. Biden's visit to Ottawa. The accord is expected to allow officials on both sides of the border to turn back such asylum seekers heading in either direction. The United States side has also seen a rise in migrant crossings there from Canada. The move is part of efforts to limit an influx of migrants at Roxham Road, an unofficial crossing between New York State and the province of Quebec. The move is part of efforts to limit an influx of migrants at Roxham Road, an unofficial crossing between New York State and the province of Quebec. As a part of the deal, Canada will create a new refugee program for 15,000 migrants fleeing persecution and violence in South and Central America. Joe Biden is in Ottawa, Canada for 24 hours to talk about a series of economic, trade, and immigration issues with Mr. Trudeau. The migration accord is scheduled to announce before he returns to the United States on Friday. The deal is an amendment to the two sides' 2004 Safe Third Country Agreement, which requires migrants to make an asylum claim in the first safe country they reach, whether it is the United States or Canada. The new arrangement will close a loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement that prevented Canada from turning away those crossing the border at unofficial crossing points. The loophole had led migrants to enter Canada from places like Roxham Road. New York City authorities last month said they were providing free bus tickets for migrants to travel up towards the United States border with Canada. Joe Biden's administration has also proposed to crack down on asylum seekers at the United States southern border with Mexico by making it harder for migrants to claim asylum once COVID border controls lift in May. The proposal has met backlash from human rights groups. The new US-Canada agreement could take effect quickly as it does not require the approval of the United States Congress. In other news, more than 1 million people took to the streets across France on Thursday, with 119,000 in Paris, according to figures from the Interior Ministry. Police fired tear gas at protesters in the capital and 80 people were arrested across the country. The demonstrations were sparked by legislation raising the retirement age by 2 years to 64. Unions have called for further protests next Tuesday, which would coincide with King Charles III state's visit to the country. It's scheduled to be in the southwest city of Bordeaux on that day, where fire engulfed the front door of the town hall on Thursday evening after a day of protests and clashes. It was not clear who was responsible for the blaze, which was quickly put out by firefighters. Interior Minister Gerald Damanin sought to cure any concerns ahead of the King's trip, saying on Thursday night that security poses no problem and the monarch will be welcomed and welcomed well. In Paris, general peaceful demonstrations saw occasional police clashes with masked rioters who smashed shop windows, demolished street furniture, and attacked a McDonald's restaurant. Since January, there have been 9 days of protests and French unions have called for a 10th next Tuesday. Partial garbage collectors who started their strike against the pension reform on 6 March have renewed it until next Monday. The unrest follows the government decision to force legislation to raise the pension age through the lower house of parliament, which lacks an absolute majority without a vote. French President Emmanuel Macron defended the move, saying the reform is a necessity. And that's it on today's news. To keep up with Allnews Nigeria, kindly follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. We'll be back with more news updates next week. Until then, stay tuned. I am Okwemi Olugbemi.